Imagine this. You wake up one morning and there's no one left a message. No unread text, no familiar names lighting up your screen. The phone is silent, not because the world forgot you, but because you erased it. One by one, you cut them off. Friends, family, lovers, even those who never truly hurt you. You tell yourself it's peace, clarity, freedom. But as the quiet stretches, a question begins to echo in your mind. Is this solitude or exile? Modern culture glorifies detachment. Protect your peace, it says. Cut off anyone who drains your energy. These slogans feel empowering, like battle cries for independence. But behind the surface lies a darker phenomenon, emotional disconnection disguised as self-care. Why do so many now where I don't need anyone as a badge of honor? Why does severing ties feel like control when it is often escape? At first, it feels decisive, almost holy. You click delete, block, or mute, and the noise vanishes. Relief floods in. But beneath it hides a question that refuses to die. Who are you when no one is left to see you? Identity, whether we admit it or not, is forged in friction, through arguments, misunderstandings, and being known in our messiness. Remove all reflections of yourself and others, and you don't find freedom. You find emptiness masquerading as peace that's easy to call boundaries. Harder to admit it's fear. Fear of rejection, fear of exposure, fear of the shadow parts of yourself you refuse to face. Carl Jung described this hidden part of the psyche as a shadow, repressed impulses that wait to resurface. The people you cut off may not have just been external relationships. They were mirrors, reflecting fragments of you weren't ready to meet. And by erasing them, you may have erased pieces of yourself. Paradoxically, the very act of withdrawal feels like rebellion in a world demanding connection. Cutting everyone off seems like ultimate control. I exist on my terms. Yet listen closely, and the irony surfaces. The same people claiming independence often crave to be understood, validated, seen. Connection is not optional. It is essential. The silence you created is intoxicating. It feels sacred, righteous. And yet, a quieter voice whispers, this isn't peace. It's withdrawal. Nietzsche once said, he who despises himself still respects himself as one who despises. Perhaps this self-imposed. Exile is a hidden form of self-despise, dressed as self-respect. To cut everyone off is to declare that connection is danger and the self is unworthy of intimacy. And so you stand on the edge of solitude, the world stretching endlessly before you. You've freed yourself from every chain, but there's no one to catch you if you fall. That a haunting question remains. When you cut everyone off, who are you really saving yourself from? And the more unsettling question, what if the person you're fleeing was never them, but you? The hidden problem, the act of cutting people off, is rarely about them. It is about you, your wounds, your fears, your unprocessed shadows. At first glance, it appears protective, but isolation is often a fortress built from pain, not wisdom. Schopenhauer wrote that much suffering stems from resisting the nature of existence. People retreat from relationships not because they hate others, but because they cannot tolerate mirrors of life's inherent dissatisfaction. Those we cut off are mirrors, showing our insecurities, fears, and unresolved pain. Jung described the shadow as a part of ourselves we deny. When ignored, it grows. When relationships are severed to avoid discomfort, we inadvertently feed the shadow's power. Each act of withdrawal is a psychological amputation, hiding pain instead of integrating it. Attachment theory deepens the picture. Gabor may suggest that unhealed childhood wounds teach the brain to see connection as risky. Emotional withdrawal becomes a survival tactic. As adults, this pattern manifests as abrupt endings, ghosting, and self-imposed exile. The more safety we seek in isolation, the smaller and more fragile our inner world becomes. Sartre highlighted the tension between freedom and responsibility. Isolation feels like freedom, but freedom without responsibility, without friction, is hollow. The self becomes a loop, unchallenged, inflating into narcissistic righteousness or dissolving into emptiness. Aldous Huxley foresaw society addicted to comfort and distraction, teaching people to avoid suffering at the cost of growth. Modern self-care rhetoric often encourages detachment, nurturing emotional minimalism while mistaking it for peace. The result is subtle and insidious. Isolation dulls empathy, stunts identity, and starves meaning. The very act meant to protect you slowly erodes the core of who you are. The unseen consequences initially. Silence feels sacred, but prolonged withdrawal rewires the brain. Social isolation triggers stress. Responses identical to physical pain. Empathy fades. Perspective narrows. You start seeing people as abstractions rather than living beings. Identity stagnates. The ego inflates in an echo chamber of self-justification. You believe clarity has been gained, when in fact distortion has taken root. Trauma, fear, and unresolved grief silently accumulate, shaping your emotions and decisions. Life loses vibrancy. Without friction, growth stalls. Without challenge, understanding shrinks. Every lost connection becomes a lesson avoided, a mirror ignored. Existential meaning begins to fade. Viktor Frankl insisted that meaning arises through responsibility to something beyond yourself. Without connection, that responsibility disappears. Culture compounds a danger. Algorithms and social media encourage selective exposure, reinforcing isolation and validating avoidance. The person who once cut ties to protect themselves now finds themselves trapped in a curated loop of safety, numbness, and self-righteousness. Isolation becomes addictive. Control feels like peace, but it is sterile. True insight, empathy, and intimacy remain beyond reach, while the mind celebrates its own defense mechanisms. The rebellion. How to break free, the first step is inward, asking, what am I really avoiding? You confront the part of yourself that fears connection, the wounded, cautious, defensive self. Jung called this integration of the shadow. Only by seeing your own fear can you reclaim authentic freedom. The rebellion is not naive reconnection. It is conscious engagement. Small acts of courage, replying to a message, listening without defense, holding a difficult conversation. These become radical acts of power. Nietzsche reminds us to give style to our character. Boundaries remain, but now they are shaped by wisdom rather than fear. Vulnerability becomes strength. Pain becomes insight. Friction becomes growth. Connection is reclaimed not for comfort, but for transformation. Every relationship, challenge, and discomfort reflects parts of yourself that isolation has kept hidden. The rebellion succeeds when you move from avoidance to deliberate presence, from fear to engagement. The ultimate true solitude does not equal strength. Withdrawal does not equal peace. Cutting everyone off is never liberation. True freedom, meaning, and identity emerge in the spaces between lives, in the messy intersections of love, conflict, and intimacy. Connection is not optional. It is a crucible where identity, empathy, and purpose are forged. Isolation may feel safe, but it is sterile. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is a gravitational force that binds life together. The ultimate realization: life is never fully lived alone. Peace is not found in cutting off others. It is found in showing up fully, messily, courageously, for yourself and for the human tapestry that surrounds you. You no longer fear mirrors, because every reflection, every challenge, every bond, every heartbreak illuminates who you are. You are not alone, not because the world has returned, but because you have integrated yourself. You stand at last in the hum of life, awake to the paradox that freedom and connection are inseparable, and that the meaning of being human is never solitary.